Hi, and here's a short video to explain something about the new site for Sands. I've created a test user and I'm going to log in. Sign in, and the immediate thing that happens is I have to go through a process just to make sure that everything is right and I am who I say I am. So we follow this Turing test and add in the characters that are on the screen and click I accept. Once we've done that, we're in. And this is what it basically looks like at the start. Very little is happening. We're not quite sure where anything is at the moment. So what I'm going to do is just show you around the general interface. We have four options we can go to: Mail, Calendar, Google Documents and Sites. Sites is a place we can have RSS feeds and various other things within the group, a little bit like having an intranet as far as the web is concerned. We won't be worried about that here, and I won't go into Documents or Calendar in any details. They're fairly self-explanatory. What I want to do is try and get over how this actually works. You can see our logo here, and there's a full search facility, including a search web facility which works from Google. On the left, got Compose Mail, and then any of our boxes that are set up at start, and we can add more to these. We've got a chat window, and then we've got our email box with various buttons up here. You note the one thing that's missing here is a mark as unread button. We'll come back to that later. Refresh allows you to simply refresh the page, but you don't need to do that in order to see new mail, because it will automatically come in. So let's have a look at some settings. If we click on Settings over here on the right, we get a whole set of settings here across the top, and I'll just go quickly through them. This first one here, General, is the usual thing. You can have keyboard shortcuts on, you can have external content, you can have your own avatar or picture, and you can upload that. You can set a signature that's sent when you send any mail, and so on. There's all sorts of little bits and pieces in there. In Accounts, you can send mail as whomever you wish, and you can send mail from several different accounts should you wish to do so. It just enables you to be somebody else from this mailbox. So if you have, for example, G7RXM might have at btconnect.co.uk, I could set that email address up there. When I sent an email, it would allow me to send as if I was sending from that address. You can also add additional mailboxes that you own. For example, you might have your GB7MBC address, and you can pull that into this particular site by POP or whatever. Actually, you can't with the MBC, but you can with others, perhaps your normal internet address. Labels are simply these that you see on the left here. And it may be that you want to create a label to see any important mail. So, for example, we'll create a new label called Ian and create that. All we've done is create the label. You can see it here, and we'll come back to that after, but you can see it's also here on the left. In filters then, we can specify things to happen when certain events take place. So for our label that we created before of Ian, we can click on From and put in G0VGS at m0scg.org.uk and go to the next step. What will happen then is we can choose what we want to happen with anything to do with that particular filter. In this case, I'm going to apply a label, and I'm going to apply the label Ian. I'm going to create the filter now, and that's the filter created. So anything that comes in from G0VGS at m0scg.org.uk will come in and end up in this label. At the moment, it will also be in your inbox as well. You can choose whether or not you want that to happen. The next stage is forwarding an IMAP. In here you can forward a copy of your mail to another email address should you wish to do so. You can also pop your mail using your own local client if you're using Outlook or Thunderbird, for example, and how to do it is shown here in the configuration instructions. I do suggest for both of these that you keep a copy of your Sans group mail in your inbox on the web, and then at least you've got it just in case. IMAP, if you know how to use IMAP and you prefer to use IMAP, you can set it up here. The next one is the chat window, and what we have here is your chat history. You can either save it or not. You can set up what microphone and speakers you're going to use if you have the voice and video chat enabled. You can also set your camera if you have one. There are various other options for chat here. The next one is web clips. Now at the top of the inbox, if we go back to the inbox here, at the top of the inbox you can see here we've got these clips, these little adverts. So we go back to settings and web clips. Those little adverts you saw before are these here. So if I just untick that, that will now have stopped that. And the last thing I want to show you is Labs. Labs is here, and these are little additions that you can make to make your life a little bit easier and to do some of the stuff that you may wish to play with. You can have a play with any of these, but I'm going to look at some of the specific labs that work in a very useful way as far as we're concerned. So scrolling down then, you can see there are lots and lots of different labs. First one is right side chat, and this moves the chat box to the right, which leaves a little bit more room on the left, so I've just clicked enable. The next one is the markers red button. If you remember, I mentioned there wasn't one. You can add one here. And then we're just going to add a couple more, which are right down near the bottom. The Google Docs gadget and the Google Calendar gadget. Save the changes. Just takes a second or two to make that. Then it'll go back, and you can now see things look a little bit different than they did before. On the left hand side I've got the calendar and documents. Any documents that have been shared with me. At the moment none have been shared with this user. On the right hand side here you've got your chat window, and again you will see more contacts in here once you've got them enabled. But you can see here already that the calendar is filling in with the details, and if you go to options and show the visible calendars by clicking edit visible calendars, you can see here the various calendars that are available for you to look at. So that's basically a quick look around. You can see you've got your markers red button here, and the page is looking a little bit better now and will work a little bit better for you. If you want to play with Labs anymore and add any more of the detail, you can always click on the little green lab. I guess it's a beaker of some kind, which will take you straight to the Labs settings. So that's a quick look round Mail. The rest of it should be fairly straightforward, I think. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me at a meeting or send me an email. And if you find this useful and you want anything else doing, just let me know and I'll see what I can do. Thank you.